All right, folks, here we are with Excel Chapter 4 Mid-Level Exercise 1. I've got my document open, it's all ready to go, so I'm done step 1. Step 2 introduces freezing pane so we can scroll while holding certain things static. So for example, we're going to freeze the top row here, so our column labels here don't disappear as we scroll down the page. So to do that, go to the View menu, and there's freeze panes here, and you can choose freeze top row. So now you'll see a kind of a more solid line under our headings, and as you scroll, the headings stay put. So we're now good with step 2. Step 3, we're going to convert all our data here into a table and then name the table Inventory 2021. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is go to the Insert menu and hit Insert Table. And then if Excel agrees with you, it'll automatically select all the data in your table, which it did for me, got right to the last row all the way to column G. I'll check that my table has headers because it does. It's got all the labels, so I'll hit OK. And now it's automatically formatted, and we've got some extra tools that we can use. So on the Table Tools Design area on the far left, that's where you get to name your table. So Inventory 2021. Okay, so that's it for step 3. Step 4, apply table style medium 3 to the table. It also says here that depending on your version of Office, it might show up as orange, comma, table style medium 3. So if you're on the Table Tools Design area, you'll see table styles off to the right. I'll hit my down arrow so I can find all my stuff. And here's my orange table style medium 3. So I'm going to choose that. And we're good for step 4. Step 5, we're going to do some sorting here. So we can sort all our data in our table based on rules that we set up. So to do that, you need to go to the Data tab and hit the Sort button here. So click on that. And now we get a window where we can add our sorting rules, they're called. So the first thing we want to do is sort the table by warehouse, A to Z. So sort by, drop down, so it picks up all the headers from each column. So we want warehouse, and we wanted it based on what value is in the cell from A to Z. So that is the first step done. Now, if you then want to sort by something else, you can add a level by clicking this button. So we want to do unit price. I'll find that, unit price. And it says smallest to largest, and that is already in there. Next thing we want to do is create a custom sort order for department so it appears in a specific sequence. So add another level. We want to do department. And we want it to be custom. So here you can choose custom list. So it has some examples where you can order the days of the week, months of the year in order. It's got the one that I set up already. So I'll just create it again. I think it'll let me. So it gives us the sequence. So you just go click on new list and then list entries, put them in order with commas in between. So first one, food and health, comma, collars, and leashes, then toys, clothes, training, and then finally grooming. Okay, I'll hit add. So it didn't let me add it because it's already there for me, so I'll just click on there, hit OK, and then it will populate your order based on what you've typed in. So when you're done that, you can hit OK. And now everything is sorted based on what I've told it to do. So a note for Mac users, it says here to create a custom order list on the Excel menu, click Preferences, and then under Formulas and Lists, click Custom Lists, and then click Add. So that's in your instruction sheet for you Mac users. Step 6, we're going to remove duplicates from the table. So I'm going to go to my Table Tools Design, and there's a button over here on the left that says Remove Duplicates. So we'll click on that, and then it gives us options. So what we want is we want any row that is exactly the same as any other row to go away. So there's only one of them. So if you want something that's exactly the same, you have to have all of these columns selected. For example, if you only had warehouse selected, it would leave you with only one Denver and one Potomac, etc. But you need to have them all selected, so something that is exactly the same in every category will be removed. So I have all mine checked, and then I'll hit OK. And it says 1 duplicate value found, 77 remain. Okay, perfect. And the instructions say that it should only remove 1, so we know that we did it correctly. So I'm going to hit OK. So that means we are done step 6. Step 7, create an unqualified structured reference in column G to determine the value of the inventory on hand, and then apply accounting number format. So it says to calculate inventory on hand, multiply unit price by the amount on hand. So you'll see what a structured reference is in a second. So I'm at the top in G2, and I'll hit equals. I want to do amount on hand, so you can see, it doesn't say E2, it says amount on hand. That's because we're in a table. Multiply that by this, unit price. As soon as I hit enter, because this is a unqualified structured reference, it's going to do this for the entire table all the way down as soon as I hit enter. So I'll do that, and there we go. It's done it for the entire table based on this unqualified structured reference. So the thing we need to do is turn this into accounting format, so I'll just highlight that column and go to my home tab and choose accounting. So now all of that looks like a nice dollar figure. So we're done step 7. Step 8, we need to apply a total row to the table, set the inventory value to sum, amount on hand to average, and then format with 2 decimal places. Okay, so if we click inside of our table, so we get the Table Tools Design tab available. There's all these check boxes here, and if you hit total row, and we go all the way to the bottom, we'll see that it added a total row here. And as we click on each the bottom of each column, we can hit our drop down, and these are all the different functions that you can have automatically run. So this one already picked up sum for us, which is what we were supposed to do. Amount on hand, though, we're supposed to have an average. So if I click under the amount on hand column, drop down, average. Now I just need to format that with 2 decimal places, so just like we've done before, and I'll just use that method to do it. So now we are good with step 8. Step 9, so this one's a little bit more complex, so we're going to create a new conditional formatting rule. So what that means is it'll format cells differently based on their contents or different conditions that you apply. So to do that, I want to apply it to all the stuff in here. So let me just read through what we're supposed to do. So we want a rule that displays any inventory value in column G for the food and health department with a value of $30,000 or more as red fill color. Okay, so there will be 2 qualifying entries. So I'll talk about that in a second. So Mac users, you're supposed to select G2 to G78, and then in the new formatting rule dialog box, select classic. Okay, so I'm going to go about setting up conditional formatting. So this is on the home tab, conditional formatting, and I'm going to set up a new rule here. So in this new rule, we're going to need to use a formula to decide what to do. There's lots of pre-built items here, which will highlight top and bottom, or stuff that's above or below. But since we have 2 things that we need to do, we need to use a formula. So I'm going to click on that there. The box underneath changes so that I can insert my formula now. So what I need to do is we need to hit our equals and then and. And this is sort of like an if, but it returns, so it checks multiple conditions. So usually an if statement will only do, like, if this is true or false, then we'll tell you what to do. The and will check 2 or more. So the first thing we need to check is whether the department is food and health. And make sure you, health. Make sure you spell it right and have all the spaces in there or else it won't work. Then we need to check whether our inventory value, so that's our G column, is greater than $30,000. So 30,000. Move my mouse there. And then close the parentheses. The thing we don't want to do is have the dollar signs that automatically pop up here. So we'll get rid of those dollar signs. So that's our formula. So our formula is good. So the department has to be food and health. Our inventory value has to be greater than 3,000, but now we have to tell it what to do if that's true. So if you click on the format button here, we're told that we want to use a red fill color. So I'm going to go to the fill tab at the top, and then it's the red here. So if I hit OK, now the preview will show. So if this is true, our cell will look like that. So if I hit OK, it should work. So we have to go find, see if there's anything. Oh, it didn't work. So that one didn't work. So let's go back and look. So conditional formatting, and I'm going to go to manage rules. Okay, so it looks like, oh, something happened in my formula. So I'm going to go to edit rule, and yeah, it kind of goofed itself to have some pretty crazy numbers there. So let me get rid of this stuff and try that again. And see if that works. There we go. It works now. So you can see, in this case, food and health was the category. It's above 30,000, highlighted red. This food and health is true for that, but it's not over 30,000. So it has not updated that one there. So now we are done step 9. If you want to see more about the conditional formatting and using that and formula, there's details in your textbook, okay? Step 10, we're going to get into some page formatting. So we're going to ensure the warehouse information is not broken up between pages when printing. So we're going to add page breaks to make sure each warehouse prints out on its own consecutive page. Okay, so if we look, so we've got different warehouses: Denver, Memphis, Potomac, San Diego. So if I want to add a page break, it's in the page layout area, and breaks are this drop down here. So the first thing you need to do is have your the cell highlighted where you want the break to go. So if I want to have Denver on its own page, I need to have a page break between Denver and Memphis here. So you want to click underneath where you want the page break to go. So if I click on Memphis here and then breaks, insert page break. Oh, that didn't work. I have to have it. I'll just highlight the entire row and do insert page break. And now you'll see a dark line going across, indicating that's where your page break is. So we just need to do that between the other ones. So I'll highlight the Potomac row, breaks, insert, and then the San Diego row, breaks, insert. Okay. Yeah, so that's it for step 10. Step 11, set the worksheet to landscape orientation. Okay, that's easy. So orientation, landscape. And then repeat row 1 labels on all pages. So if we go to print preview now, you'll see we've got our page break working. We go to the next page. Okay, it says Memphis, but we don't have any titles here. So if you're just looking at page 2, you wouldn't really know what you're looking at. So we need to go to the So we're on page layout again, and we want to go to print tiles. And then it gives us options here. So rows to repeat at the top. Well, we tell it which ones we want. So I'll click this up arrow so I can go and select. I want to select the first row. Hit this down arrow again to get out of selection mode. And now we are good. That's all we want to say. So we hit OK. Now if we go to print preview and we go page to page, we've got our heading titles on each one, which is exactly what we want. So that's it for step 11. Step 12, we need to do the footer as normal. So page layout, I'm going to go to the page setup dialog, header footer, custom footer, your name, sheet code, file name. Okay. Okay. And then the last thing we need to do is display the inventory sheet in page break preview. So if we go to the view menu, page break preview, this will give you kind of a print preview without having to go file print. So it shows, okay, page 1, 2, 3, 4, everything. And one thing that's kind of nice in this view is you can click and drag these around if you want, you know, certain rows on certain pages, you can do it that way. So that's step 12. Step 13 is save and close. So we are done.